How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gemini Soulcast. I'm your host, Rob.
And I'm your host, Sin.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning into this week's episode. For this time around, I've been thinking a lot about productivity as well as how I do things in my life.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm very busy and I want to make sure I get everything done to the way I want it to.
Oh, okay.
The problem with that is it messes up with my mind a lot.
Yeah, because you want everything done perfect.
And therefore, I end up getting a lot of them not done.
That, that perfectionism that leads to procrastination.
Say it one time louder for the people at the back.
Perfectionism leads to procrastination. And it does. I'm a victim of that too. I'm a victim, you hear me?
No victim mentality right
No
here.
no victim mentality. No, I'm the same way. I could be the same way.
Because you were mentioning earlier before we record this podcast that it was your therapist that told you this quote?
Yes, she's the one that told me this quote. And she was speaking to me because right now I'm working as a content creator. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I kind of overthink as far as what I want to do throughout my day. So I put all this pressure on myself to get I just want to pack in my day, do 20 different things. And then I get annoyed with myself that I don't get it done.
Right.
Right? That's the first thing. But then she's like, well, what is it about certain things? Why do you keep putting it off? And I realize it's because I'm overthinking. Like these videos that I want to shoot, I overthink. I kind of stay stuck on the creation mode instead of just going with my idea and shooting it.
It's more like the perfectionism is what's creating the overthinking.
Yes.
That gets you stuck in this loop.
Yes.
Creation, I think, is when you're actually creating it. But I think for a lot of us who are creative, we get stuck in the brainstorming mode, the planning mode.
Yep.
Constantly planning and never executing.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, what's it called? Analysis
paralysis.
Yes.
That's
you get
me.
these ideas and you're like, all right, let me research on, whatever idea you may have. Let me do this research. And all you're doing is researching.
Yeah.
Every day for a week. But you're not doing anything.
Right. I think part of it has to do with fear.
Yeah.
Fear that we don't get it right. Fear that we're not making the right decision. So to fully equip us with the best decision-making skills, we feel like we have to know everything first.
Right.
Or get every piece of the puzzle correct.
Right.
Before we
Make a
on.
move.
Yeah.
Before we make the move.
When in the reality is that you, regardless of what decision that you make, you're going to be pivoting anyways.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Why is it that so many of us fall into this trap?
Honestly, it's even hard to answer that realistically. I think it's because we have ideas of where we should be at certain points in our life. And I feel it starts from that, right? Because even when, for instance, when people I'm just waiting for the right time to have a baby. Does the right time ever really arrive? Does it get here? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm waiting for the right time. When deep down, there's people that say that are struggling on whether, do I really want to have a baby?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Or they're feeling like, I'll do everything once I'm a millionaire. I mean, you could take your entire life to become a millionaire.
Right.
So what are you going to do? Wait until then?
It's like the expectation of the things that you want to do or how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Is what gets many of us stuck in this mode, and ultimately that creates our suffering.
Yes.
I was reading from this book called Don't Believe Everything You Think.
Yes.
By Joseph Wynn, and he specifically talks about how just us thinking is the root of all suffering in life.
Yeah.
So the more we're thinking about the plan that has to be in a certain way, the more we get stressed out. All that extra energy that could have been placed into actually the doing.
Right.
It gets into, what if this doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen?
Right.
Or what if this does happen and then I'm not ready?
Right.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah. That's even when I was trying to conquer my public speaking. I had every reason, who's, if I start going on Instagram Live, and I've mentioned this before, if I start going on, who's going to listen to me? Who's going to want to hear me speak? What am I supposed to do on there? And thankfully, I had a great support system. They were like, we'll listen to you. Just get on. The point is, take the step and start doing it. Start doing them. And I started doing it. And now it's like, it's much more easier for me to take a step towards something than it used to be. Because I kind of conquered that. And again, yeah, you're right. It's based on fear.
Right. I think what could help a lot of people when it comes to taking that step, because a lot of us do overthink, what helps us take that step is if you start with a very small step. Obviously, for example, if your step is to, I want to be a content creator, maybe you could have a goal to hit, I want to hit my first 5,000K followers or 10K followers. Great. That's a noble idea. But if you're going to be stuck in this field of like, I need to get the right phone, I need to get the right camera, I need to get the right lighting and then you are taking away that time from actually posting.
Right.
So you could make yourself a goal to be like, instead of my goal being to get 10,000K followers, my goal will be, let me post 2-3 times a week.
Right.
Let me post at this day, at this time.
Right.
I made it a rule for myself too.
Yeah.
Where like every time I post, and the music out there could even confirm with me. It's like, because it's a party out here, you know? Whenever I post, I don't look at my phone for the rest of the day.
Right. You said that to me one time because I was like, did you see this? And you were like, no.
Yep.
I have my boundaries. I posted. I can't look at it until tomorrow.
Yeah. That's something that I said for myself. Right. And I said for myself, I'm going to post at least once a week. I don't need to post every day. Right. I'm going to post at least once a week. Like, make sure that you have something that you feel like you could attain. I know I could take this step of posting once a week. If I'm feeling more ambitious, now I'm posting once a week. Let me try posting twice a week.
Right.
Oh, I have enough followers to go live. Let me try going live once a week at this time, every time.
Right.
And slowly you're going to start getting the momentum going, I feel.
Yeah.
Because that's what you did.
Yeah. It just start one day at a time, one step at a time. But my issue is that my therapist told me was, well, actually it unlocks something for me too. Because the more that I do therapy, the more that I'm learning about myself. And when it came to this, when I was telling her like, well, I'm thinking like, it's got to be great. Like I have to really have, really shoot something great and make sure that the editing's on point and make sure that my captions are great. And she's looking at me like, that's what's holding you back. You're overthinking it too much. Like as far as what to do, just do it. Just shoot it, do it, and keep going, right? And then it made me think, because she was saying like, oh, so you're trying to do like 25 things in one day. Why do you feel you have to pack everything into one day? And when I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, I get this from my mom, right? Because I remember how even, let's say, and I use this as an example, every Sunday, she would make me iron all my clothes for the week.
Damn.
To go to school. Elementary school, no less.
Damn.
She had me ironing my clothes for the week. That means like my pants, I had to have like the 5, they had to be ironed, any tops. Like, yeah, I'm like, why is a kid like me, why was so much pressure put on me that I need to get this done? And then I despise doing it, but I did it. Like, I was like, all right, let me make her happy or whatever. And I put all this pressure on myself to always have it done. And it's the same thing like during the week after school. Now I'm in junior high school. And it was like, I had to go straight home to boil beans. That was another chore. And it was like, I can't enjoy like an after school dance or something. I got to go home and do these beans. And like, it's like, I didn't put two and two together, the pressures that we can encounter as kids.
That's very
and
true.
We're still carrying it. And now we're adults. We don't have anybody packing anything on top of us. So we're doing it to ourselves.
Right. We're doing this to ourselves because that's what we're used to. We're so comfortable with feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
That it feels uncomfortable to not put that pressure on ourselves.
Yes.
It feels foreign to us.
Yes. It's like if I don't freaking clean my house, like if I say, okay, today I'm going to clean the bathroom and I'm going to clean the kitchen. And if I don't get to it because I'm doing the other million things that I've put pressure on myself to have done that same day, I'm like, oh, all right, I just got to get it done tomorrow. Like, I feel like a sense of disappointment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's still there. Like, you can get up tomorrow and do it and just add it to your list tomorrow. But we put all that pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's like hard. So me speaking about it with her, it was like, oh, I got to stop doing that. So now, like, starting this week, like, literally, I just had this conversation a couple of nights ago.
Wow.
So now, literally, this week, I'm going in, like, with a fresh perspective. Like, I'm just going to do what I can for that day. Like, I'm just going to do, like, 2 or 3 things. It's okay. I'll just prioritize. And if I don't get to, like, one thing, it's okay. If I can do it the next day, I'll just shift it over. But I'm not going to beat myself up for it.
I think a lot of times we do, because whether it's our parents or from society that says that if you do something wrong, you get punished for it.
Yeah.
And so then that happens too, where it's like, oh, if you don't complete this task, then you're a failure. You're not the straight A student. You're not lovable. You're not deserving of things.
Yes, you're
because
correct.
Of that. And that's where so much of this perfectionist mindset comes in.
That's terrible.
It's because I think the reality is no one cares.
Only we do.
Yeah. The reality is, like, no one cares. So you might as well just post whatever you want to post.
Just post
create whatever you want to create.
Yes.
Why wait?
Right.
Why wait for any of this?
Right. We're over here thinking, like, even recently too, like the shoppable content, the dresses I did.
Yeah.
Some of them I'm like, oh my God, I don't like the way that I look in that dress, but whatever. I got over it, right? I posted, I did what I had to do. I'm getting all these compliments and I'm going, am I seeing this wrong? Because that's the other thing. We're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, we have it in our head, like we have to look a specific way, especially with what social media shows us. Or like again, like what society has us thinking. Like, we have to, everything's got to be great. I got to look fabulous in this dress. I got to look, amazing. My stomach's got to be super flat for this to look flattering. And it's like, it's not even true.
No.
Like, it's just extra pressure.
Fully. And for what?
Exactly. Because if somebody don't like it, keep scrolling.
Yeah.
See?
Like you could also put so much effort into something and somebody can still scroll past you anyways.
Yeah.
So you might as well post it anyways. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I think what you want to build is catalog. You want to be able to build catalog as a content creator. For example, if you're a content creator, if you want to be a musician, you want to build a catalog of music. If you are a painter, you want to build a catalog of paintings, right? But if you're going to let your perfectionism get in the way, you're not going to be able to create this body of work.
Right.
How are you going to convert a fan or somebody to be a fan of yours? You cannot convert a fan if you don't have a catalog, if you don't have a body of work to show people.
Right.
You get one thing and that's it. Like,
right.
That because you've been so nitpicky. I have to get this perfect.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to wait at like an ice cream store, right? There's a line out there and the person in the ice cream store, I got to get this perfect cherry on this sundae. Sorry, folks. It's just going to take an extra 50 minutes. You're going to have no business.
Have you ever found yourself like holding yourself back because of your perfectionism or...
That sounds like an attack.
No, it's a question.
That sounds more like a statement. Yeah. So normally this would be a commercial break, but for us, we do affirmations of the day. So Sin, would you like to pick the card?
Got it. Oh, wow. I am at peace with my sexuality.
Ooh, baby.
I rejoice in my sexuality and in my own body. My body is perfect for me in this lifetime. I embrace myself with love and compassion. Ooh, once again, I am at peace with my sexuality. Wow. I kind of feel like this is just a message to remind you to like really fully embrace yourself. Really accept yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically.
Right. I know a lot of times maybe there's social media that could compare yourself with other people's bodies, other people's money, other people's affluence. And we have to take a look at ourselves to be like, I am fully enough. I don't want to let other people's standards determine my worth and my value.
Right, and it goes hand in hand with this episode, actually. So post that photo, post those videos, keep loving yourself, and be at peace with your sexuality.
Exactly. And with that, back to the episode. You asked me, have I ever held myself back? Yeah. When have I not? How many times have I told myself that I was going to create a podcast?
Yes.
And I didn't. How many times have I've had these microphones, these mic stands, this ring light for years.
Wow.
How come I didn't fully maximize it? Knowing damn well that I have every opportunity to create a podcast. What was I waiting for? The perfect lightning bolt to strike?
Yeah.
For me to be like, this is the perfect idea?
Yeah. Dad, that's like me too. I bought a program for podcasting, and I still haven't finished it. That was over a year ago. Procrastination.
Perfectionism leads to procrastination.
Yeah. Oh man, it's true. And then I remember, like, you know, when I brought that program to the woman that like runs that she has like a podcasting school type thing, and I got on a call with her, and I remember her saying like, well, did you get your mic? Did you get this? Did you get that? And I was just like, oh, I didn't know I had to have everything. And she's like, yeah. Because she's like, she was going to produce like the opening to like my own podcast.
I see.
And I didn't realize that I needed to have all these things already. So I like jumped the gun. Like thinking like, oh yeah, I get on this call. She's going to give me $1 million idea and I'm just going to run with it. And she was like, no, when you have your stuff, come back on and we'll do, it was like a 15-minute one-on-one consultation call.
Oh, I see.
So I have yet to go back. That was like over a year ago. But I have lifetime access to this program that I also, by the way, that I felt when I first saw it, I was like, it's a little pricey for me right now. And then when it came back up for me, like, you know what? I really do want to do a podcast. It, you know, I just so happened to like go on social media. And in that moment, like there's like a reel that she put up that it was like half the price. And I bought it.
Hey.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. And at the time, it was like I was going to have surgery during that time. Right. And I was like, oh, I can just, you know, do this during my recovery and whatever else. And I really jumped the gun because I was on recovery, but I jumped the gun. She was like, no, I need you to have this and that. But you know what I'm saying?
It's okay if you end up jumping the gun sometimes, because sometimes you really only know once you start going.
Yeah.
It's like momentum, like movement and momentum creates more momentum. Energy creates more energy.
Yeah.
Right? Just like money creates more money.
Yeah.
So if you're not taking any step towards anything, if you're not willing to take that leap of faith, you're not going to be able to get to where you want to get to. You got to take a risk on certain things. You got to be willing to be like, you know what? Even if it's not perfect, I'm going to put it out there, because the worst thing for us to do, whether we're creative people or artists, is that we have a brilliant idea, and because we feel like it's just not good enough or not perfect enough, we shelve it for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
that's true.
That, I think, is one of the biggest regrets for any creative person.
Yeah. I feel too, though, that a lot of things, sometimes, yes, you procrastinate, but sometimes it's also alignment. Like, you know, you could feel like you're ready to do something, and, you know, you are doing a podcasting program, you know, like you're learning on your own and you're doing all these things, but something within you just doesn't feel like the time is still, it's not right yet. It's not right yet. Like for me, it was really alignment, like us aligning for this podcast.
Right.
Like all this occurred before I met you.
Right. Yeah.
I brought the program, this and that, like this was right before I met you.
Wow.
And then fast forward, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I want to do my own podcast and whatever. And then you're like, well, I'll help you with that. I can edit. I can help you set up. You're ready to do something that you could have done on your own too a while ago. Yeah. And you're ready to help me with it. And then in that moment, I was like, oh no, I think you're supposed to do this with me. And here we are. Gemini Soulcast was born. And I'm very proud of it. And I'm very proud of the work that we're doing.
Sames. I think even if we were to look back on how everything came to be, it really definitely was this divine timing. Yeah. To get to where we are now. Yeah. You know, like between your experiences, with your previous podcast, and I've had podcast experience too, but to then be like, hey, I want to create my own, I just don't know what the idea is. And so that mix of both of our worlds and both of our ideas created this very beautiful moment organically.
Right.
You know,
it was organic.
And I do feel that sometimes when we become perfectionists, that's when we try to force something, because we're trying to force this thing to work. We're trying to force everything to be very perfect before we get it done.
Yep.
When a lot of the times the true perfection of all of this and the true beauty of all of this is when it comes so naturally and flows so organically that it's, oh wow, that's so beautiful already.
Yeah.
You know, like then we don't have to tweak it too much. You know, and that's the beautiful part.
Right. And I felt it was just easy for us to put our podcast together too, because these conversations that we're having, we have them over like dinner.
Yeah.
Like
we already have them.
over lunch.
You know?
We just have these conversations, and it made me feel even much more strongly about the fact that like, oh, this is going to be easy. This doesn't even feel like any type of work, even though we like plan to like record our podcast thing. Right. It's like, it's just so easy.
And I do feel like the things that come naturally, the things that come easy to you, those are the things that you should lean towards. Obviously in life there's going to be things that you don't want to do, and maybe society will tell you that you have to pick up a certain type of skill or get a certain type of degree to sustain yourself, to make money. But I think if we really look into the great picture of everything, anything that we feel gravitated towards at that moment, I think it's good to take a look into that. And to not let that perfectionism self stop you.
Right.
From taking that step to try. You know?
Yeah, don't hold yourselves back. Like, I mean, again, we're still learning. But we're sharing with you so that you can like initiate, you know, start, you know, taking the steps towards the things that you want to do. Right. And stop letting like people around you or society, you know, stop you from doing that too. Like, because it's like the overthinking, like, well, if I put out this content, what are people going to think? If I put out my own podcast, what are people going to think? You know, like, what are they going to say? You start really thinking too much about what everybody else is thinking that you lose yourself in that. Yeah. And you can have like the most amazing ideas or topics to cover or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And you're just going to hold yourself back from sharing it.
Yeah. A lot of times too is like sometimes you do start something, right? But then you get a bit of pushback, you get a bit of setbacks.
Yes.
Maybe you do fail at a few things. Yeah. And then you stop. Yeah. Because part of that perfectionism says that, well, that didn't quite work out the way I expected. It has to be this certain image or picture or plan. Right. That it's just not worth continuing it. When in the reality, it's just more like the universe has an even bigger plan for you. Yeah. The universe has an even better picture for you to paint, even better story for you to write. Yeah. This little setback should be nothing compared to the type of role that you're about to book.
Right. Oh, yep.
I have to remind that for myself all the time.
I recently met someone too, and I forgot to tell you this earlier. I did meet someone too that is an actor, and he was saying like, oh, you know, every time that I'm like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm tired of this. All I'm doing is auditioning for the same type of roles, the same type of commercials, this and that. Boom, an audition comes in. Every single time. And he's just there like, all right, I'll do it. Like, he pushes through because it just keeps coming in and keeps coming in. And for me, I feel like, you know, like the universe or God is trying to like tell you like, hey, don't quit. Right. Don't quit right before the miracle happens or what it is that you dream about. It's about to come in. And if you quit, it's not going to come in for you. You're not going to, you know, be open to receive it or allow it, you know, to come through. Here we go.
For those who are listening, you're not going to be able to see the book that I'm holding, but I'm holding the book called Think and Grow Rich. This is a classic book.
Yes, it is.
The reason why I'm just bringing this up right now is because it's exactly what you were saying. Where you're talking about those setbacks, right? Where is it saying? Okay. By Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Here's the quote. It says, before success comes to most people, they are sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. When faced with defeat, the easiest and most logical thing to do is to quit. That is exactly what the majority of people do. More than 500 of the most successful people in America ever known told the author their greatest success came just one step beyond the point at which defeat had overtaken them.
Mm-hmm.
Failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one up when success is almost within reach.
Yep. It's right there.
It's right there.
It's right there.
And that's really when the universe is saying, hey, look, there's something great approaching.
Right.
And that little setback is just this little rock that, oh, you trip a little bit, but your destination's right there.
Yeah.
The finish line's literally right there.
It's right there.
But we get shrouded by that. It
Yeah.
gets covered up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang.
Got to keep going. It's like the lottery. Got to be in it to win it.
Every time. Yeah. So there's couple things, right? There's two main things here right there. One, do not let your perfectionism prevent you from starting.
Yep.
And then number two, don't let the naysayers or the setbacks prevent you from continuing.
Right.
Right? There's that quote from Denzel Washington where it's like, commitment is what gets you started. Mm-hmm. Consistency is what keeps you going.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you got to stay consistent with
You have
it.
to. Right?
I'm just going to add to that, if you are someone who struggles with this, right? Because you're just like what we've been saying, you're so worried about what other people are thinking or what they're saying or anything like that. Friends, family. There's going to be times that you are going to encounter those closest to you that don't believe in your vision. And that's okay, because it is your life to lead. It is your path to take. So I'm just going to say, follow your soul. I'll say it again. Your soul has all the answers. Follow it, because that is your inner GPS, and she's not going to lead you in the wrong direction. Even when you feel you're headed in the wrong direction, you got to trust in it. Trust in it, because it's always going to put you right where you belong. And those opportunities, they're like literally right there. You just got to keep going. You just got to keep trusting.
Keep trusting yourself.
Yeah.
Keep trust and know that you have everything within you to make this happen. We feel that we need to get everything in place before we can do something. In some cases, sure, yeah. If I'm going to be climbing Mount Everest, yeah, I need to get equipped. I'm not trying to die up there or freeze to death.
Yeah.
I get that. But in most situations, we already have all the resources that we need to do everything that we want to do in life.
Within us.
It's already here.
It's already in there.
Have that burning desire. Know exactly what you want. Don't let that fear get the best of you. You're beautiful. You are smart. You are talented. You are abundant. You are a product of the universe and of God. We are made of the stars.
Yeah.
We are superstars.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, go after whatever it is that you want to go after.
Yep. Because you got this. You got this. So all the best to you guys that are really going after what you want. And for those that are afraid, take the leap.
Take that
Universe
leap of faith.
got you. God got you.
And we got you too.
And we got you too.
You know, as we always do. So write down in the comments, what are some of your dreams that you have, right? What is something that has previously held you back that now you're like, I think I'm ready to take that leap of faith to do it. Let us know. We're here to support you every step of the way.
Every step.
Yeah. And with that, thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode. Once again, my name is Rob.
My name is San. And this is another episode of
Gemini Soulcast.